Hey guys, it's Rufus, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is the basic bakery hold. So when it comes to placing your utility, there's really a lot to think about in what you want to do and how you want to hold this. Now, first, you're always going to need utility denial. So that's going to be either a Jaeger and a Wamai. It's also pretty common for people to put Maestro cams up on top of this shelf, as it gives you that intel of when the attackers are walking into bakery. The reason this is so powerful is because it's really difficult to clear out the person in bakery. Because when you clear utility, you're really forced to expose yourself. And so trying to turn around the corner completely and just take out that Maestro cam is going to be difficult until you actually have bakery control. You may also see people put a castle barricade on the wedding door and make a rotate on the very side. What this does is it gives the bakery player and the prep player more cover, and it makes it more difficult to push into bakery. Because when you have to crouch through a rotate, you're slower and you're easier to kill. Along with the fact that you just have so much more space to maneuver around, and it makes it so much easier to hold bakery. It's also common to put shields in both bakery and prep, depending on how you want to play it. And lastly, you're going to want a mute or a Kaid so that you can stop the attackers from opening that wedding wall. The reason you want to do this is because the attackers cannot destroy that mute jammer or electro claw without using explosive utility. And so if the attackers can't open that wedding wall, it does make it a lot harder to push in bakery, because having that wedding wall open almost guarantees that you can take bakery very easily. One disadvantage to opening the wedding wall is that anybody flanking from the red area can see into bakery. It's not super huge, but it is a little bit of viewing distance that you should be cautious of. If you don't have an air jab above the wedding door, it gives a great opportunity for someone playing around Harry Potter just peek into bakery real quick and then go back into that red hallway. If you watch Pro League, you might have also noticed that a lot of teams will open up the walls inside of sight, like the bakery wall or even the wall in the red hallway. And an even more rare strategy, which is opening the prep wall, which I'll talk about later. But there are a couple of benefits to these rotates, and I'll start with the bakery rotate. Now, this makes it harder to push into bakery, as the attackers have an extra thing to worry about. A defender could peek from that bakery rotate in order to support the bakery player, along with the fact that it gives the bakery player the ability to rotate in and out of sight much easier. Some of you might also be thinking that opening the wall seems dumb because, the attackers, once they have bakery, the wall is just open for them. And you would be right in thinking that, but the only problem is that bakery wall is going to get opened no matter what. The defenders can't really do much to keep that wall closed because the attackers are just going to clear upstairs, clear the utility off of that bakery wall, and prevent it from being tricked or anything. So no matter what the defenders do, the attackers can always get that wall open. You could basically compare it to armory on border. That armory wall, really, there's nothing you can do about it to keep it closed. And so I used to see people just open that wall, as it makes it much harder to actually push onto that balcony and push into sight. But it really all depends on just what you want to do. Now if you combine the red rotate and the bakery rotate, you get this really nice angle looking straight into bakery. And so when you hold these long angles, you can make it extremely difficult just to push into that bakery door, because as soon as you peek that bakery door, you're going to have to worry about someone from coats, you're going to have to worry about someone from behind bakery, you're going to have to worry about someone from prep, or the bakery rotate, and potentially even wedding if you don't have someone on that wedding window. Now next, I'm going to talk about the prep wall. Opening the prep wall, in my opinion, is a pretty fun strategy. I really like it at least. And so think about if you were attacking bakery, and you're trying to push into that bakery door, and you prematurely open the prep wall. Well, what you've done now is, once you push in bakery, you're exposed to an extra angle, which is prep. This allows the prep player to have a greater influence on the round and a greater influence on the bakery hold. Because not only does it force the attackers to expose themselves, but it wastes more time and makes the possibility of getting picks or refrags so much easier for the defenders. But enough with rotates. When it comes to who you want to play in bakery, it really doesn't matter, but I would suggest using someone with a good scope if you can, at least a 1.5, because Kafe is a very long-ranged map and trying to take gunfights in bakery can be difficult if you end up becoming forced to take a more long-range engagement. However, if you were playing in prep, that's really good for shotguns now, especially if you open that prep wall. Once the attackers just push in, you just swing them with your shotgun and they just get destroyed instantly. However, Clash is actually a pretty good choice here. With how easy it is to stay in cover and how easy it is for your teammates to support you in bakery, having Clash just sit in bakery wastes a significant amount of time. But if the attackers do take wedding control, that does force the Clash to kind of fall back to prep. But even then, once Clash is backed into sight, she still can have so much impact on the round. Because the attackers are kind of forced to push in one direction, Clash is super good here. The only thing you really need to worry about is breaching from above, the wedding player, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty easy. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the best way to deal with the bakery hold as an attacker. So a few times throughout this video, I've discussed clearing from above. And when it comes to clearing bakery, it's actually really important that you clear from above. And even though there's no soft ceiling above bakery and you can't breach above bakery, I'll explain why this is powerful. When you take train and mining control, you can breach above prep. So what this does is it forces the prep player out of prep, and now the bakery player is more isolated. Not only that, but you can get a player on red stairs, which promotes taking bakery control and helps get that wedding wall open, as the defenders can't really play at Harry Potter or red stairs if the attackers already have that control. So when nobody can play prep, and we have wedding control and we're trying to push into bakery, the one person in bakery is really isolated and they're really just by themselves. So at that point, it really just comes down to pushing into bakery, playing for trades, and being careful of those rotates that I mentioned earlier. Before I end this video, just a quick thank you to anybody who supported me at ESA the other day. I've still got more games going on, so I'll plug that in the description below. So that's all to say for this video, and if you learned something, give the video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. Toodles.